vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Hello, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight, and now we invite you to relax. Let us pull up a chair as we proudly present your podcast. I am Elyse Daly.
I'm Scott Daly.
And together,
we're the Dailies. That was great, Elyse.
Thanks.
What was that from? What's the reference? I don't get it.
It's just a tale as old as time, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to describe it, I'd probably call it what's the word? Like a song as old as rhyme, maybe?
Yeah.
All right. This is the podcast where each week we pick movies or TV shows or anything else for each other to watch, and then we vow to view them. We come back after having watched them. We talk about them. We talk about the movies. We talk about love. We talk about marriage. We talk about princesses.
You're right, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, you're being...
It's a Daily Planet podcast.
It is. We didn't say that.
All about marriage and the things we make each other watch.
I vow to view whatever you want me to.
It's good.
What are we talking about?
I vow to watch at least 15 minutes before I fall asleep.
That is...
Of whatever you want to watch.
That seems like it's rude, but that's actually a lot for you.
I give you 15.
That's a big deal. Thank you, Elyse.
Maybe some days I'll even give you 30.
Wow.
I know.
Only if you've had coffee.
Well, I had coffee yesterday and it didn't work.
Wow, yeah.
I don't know what it was yesterday. It just hit me.
So every week we have Wednesday date night, and
it's a lovely time.
It is. We want to prioritize taking one night out of our evening. We're both very busy
during the week.
Yeah. To just hang out together. So we usually go out to eat. Sometimes we catch a movie. Sometimes we go do something fun. Whatever. Last night, went out to eat. Had a great dinner. No alcohol. No alcohol.
I was really tired.
No margaritas. We got home. We decided not to go do anything after food. We got some dessert. We went home. Sit on the couch. Put on... Collateral.
Not the... What movie was that? Was it...
Collateral Beauty. That's terrible. This is awful.
No, there was a movie called Collateral. Wasn't there? With Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx and Thomas J. Cruz.
Not that. This is with Carey Mulligan.
Yeah, it's the new Netflix show.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I
enjoy it.
You made it through one episode.
Technically, I think we could say 2 because we finished the first one, we watched the full second one, and then we got halfway through the third one. So I would say a solid 2.
I think the point of this whole story, though, is that you fell asleep at like 8:30 in the evening.
I think it was really closer to 8.
I think you're probably right.
It might have even been 7:30.
I mean, the good thing...
It was a rough day. It wasn't a rough day. It was just, when you have a whole week off and you have a completely different schedule, and you're just so relaxed, and then you've got to go back to work, and you hadn't been working for a full week, then you know what? You get tired. It happens too when I come back from the summer. The first week or two after I get back from school, it's tiring. It's exhausting.
I'm so sorry. It's
okay.
Really tough to get a whole week off. It's really tough.
It's so hard.
Tough. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
princesses.
Disney princesses. Because we're continuing the celebration of March.
Yes.
Of Women's Month. National Women's History Month.
Yes.
Which apparently, by the way, was not a thing until 1987. I learned that today.
Oh. You're older than Women's History Month.
I am older than Women's History Month.
I'm not.
Before Women's History Month, there was me.
There was you.
I was pre-women, turns out.
I can't. Okay.
Okay.
The thing is, when I laugh, it makes no sound, too. So it's like people don't know that I'm laughing. They just think you're just
being silent.
But I was really laughing.
Well,
sometimes when I laugh, I make sound, but...
Elyse.
Yeah.
What are the Disney princesses?
Okay, so I actually looked up the definition of Disney princess, and
it's very serious.
It's like there's no definition really.
The definition is what they want it to be.
And so there's someone who wrote an entire post about like since there is technically no definition other than the person fits the princess mythology, they decided to see about what the things or what characteristics these princesses have in common.
Someone wrote a think piece about this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they are human. They talk to animals.
Okay.
And I forget what it was about like their character arc. There's a specific character arc thing that they have to go through in one of two ways.
I mean,
and that's it.
Let's be honest here. The Disney princesses thing is a marketing technique.
Yes.
In fact, I looked up what happened. A guy went to an ice skating show and noticed there were all these little girls there, and they were wearing princesses outfits.
And he's like, "How can I make money off of this?
There's an opportunity to make more money for Disney. Mm-hmm. Let's do it."
Now, I will say, like how you have found, obviously,
I have found
the princesses have been divided into 3 different eras.
Yes,
and there's the quote-unquote classic era of Disney princesses, and that is Snow White, Cinderella, and Aurora. And those are actually my least favorite princesses. Actually, in that order. Snow White is my absolute least favorite.
What movies are those from?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, thank you. That was supposed to be a joke, but you took it seriously. Two of them are in the names of the movies.
I know. Sleeping Beauty is not, and it's Aurora. And then
Aurora Borealis?
No, not the Northern Lights. Is that what she got her name from?
I have no idea.
Oh, I thought you were like looking at me like
I was actually thinking of the Simpsons steamed hams joke, but then I realized you have no idea what that is, so I can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't work. And then my favorite grouping of Disney princesses,
the Renaissance.
Ariel, which came out the year that I was born.
The Renaissance.
So I mark the Disney Renaissance era.
You are the Disney Renaissance.
I am the Disney Renaissance princess. Yes. So Ariel, the Belle, Jasmine, Pocahontas.
The Belle?
I accidentally said that. Pocahontas is my least favorite out of the Renaissance era, and then Mulan. And then there's the modern era, which these are kind of shaky too. Tiana, Rapunzel, and Merida.
Why are these shaky?
I didn't really like the movies very much.
You didn't like Tangled?
Tangled was my favorite out of all of them.
You didn't like Brave?
Then I did not like Brave. Brave is my least favorite out of all 3 of those. No. I liked The Princess and the Frog, okay. It was kind of scary though, but that's just the whole graveyard, New Orleans history part of it that was just kind of dark. But it reminded me at the same time of Anastasia and the
not a Disney princess.
Not a Disney princess, but the what is it? Rasputin and his underworld thing. It kind of reminded me of that.
He had a bat friend.
Bartok. I loved Bartok. And then I kick him, sir. With a ha!
That's actually a pretty good impression.
And a hi-ya!
We'll have to do that movie sometime. We own that movie because you made
don't fail me now. Okay. Courage, don't desert me. Don't turn back now that we're here.
How do we do? We're doing Disney princesses, and the first song you sang was a non-Disney princess song?
No, I sang one from Beauty and the Beast.
No, you didn't.
I opened it. Be a listener, be a listener. We'd appreciate your review.
That doesn't rhyme.
If you write one, we'll be happy, and we'll. I don't know for you. I'm not a freestyler.
Freestyling.
Sorry. Anyways, so getting back to Disney princesses. 3 different eras.
You know what I'm surprised about? And maybe they just haven't gotten around to it. I was expecting some newer movies to be on here because the latest one is from Brave, and Brave was a while ago now. I was like, why is
the Frozen princesses just get inducted into it?
I mean, I looked this up today before we started, and they're not in it. So
they probably will be soon.
Yeah, at least one of them. And I kind of thought that Moana would get in there eventually. I guess it just takes time because there's a lot of.
I mean, there's
a lot of
ceremony
royal
that they have to
paperwork
go
that they're
through.
gonna do.
It's not necessarily, but they evidently do a big to-do at.
Well, yeah, they're crowning a princess.
I know.
At least this is serious stuff.
I know. American royalty right here. So
attached to a corporation.
Anyways, but
there's
actually
that is quintessential American. That
Yeah.
the American royalty is just inventions of a giant corporation.
Both of the movies that we picked though came from the same Disney era,
The Renaissance.
the Renaissance era, and I think that when I think also, I guess that's just because I like these Disney princesses the best. When I think of Disney princesses, number one, I think of Ariel because she is actually my favorite Disney princess movie as a whole. I shouldn't want to pick her because when I think of like a good representation of a strong female, she doesn't necessarily come to my mind.
But she has.
But her music is fantastic.
She has 20 thingamabobs.
Yeah. But who cares? No big deal. I want more.
I have to tell you a story, and I don't know if I've ever told you this story.
Where the people are. You can share your story now.
Okay, I'll tell the story, and then we got to get into talking about these movies. But so I was at a hotel with my friends. Like, no, it was for my business fraternity in college.
Ooh,
We were doing a professional trip, and professional trip is just when you went to a different city in Texas, either Dallas, Houston, or. Do not eat food, Elyse. Put the food away. Put it away. We were going to Dallas, Houston, or Austin on a professional trip, and then, like, the secret thing about it is the day after the professional trip, you all to get really drunk at the hotel.
It's not a secret if you tell everyone.
Well, it was
and
literally.
I think everyone knew that that's where your story was going to go before you even started.
Literally
It.
10 years ago.
We
So the
all
statute
knew.
of limitations on getting drunk on professional trip is over.
Is it?
It is. So me and my friend James Gentry, who has been
I like James Gentry.
who has been on the Daily Planet podcast before,
He's nice.
got drunk, and for some reason, a group of us were just like hanging out, and a bunch of us just started singing Disney songs, and we were all singing Disney songs, and we were singing the song you were just singing, the Ariel song, and Gentry got in his head. You know, the part was like, "What's that word again?" And Gentry was singing it. And Gentry was singing it. What's that word again? Oh, yeah. Water. Because apparently in Gentry's mind, the word that the fish people would not know is water.
Is what's all around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my James Gentry story. So next time you see him, you can tell him that I told the entire
Just
world
say,
that
hey,
story.
Gentry, what's that word again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Water. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about the movies we picked.
I'm glad this time you told a story.
And we will start, Elyse,
Yeah.
with your movie.
So I chose the last movie in the Disney Renaissance era, Mulan, which came out in 1998, which is 20 years ago.
I can't
this
believe
year.
that.
This movie is turning
can't
20
believe
this
that.
year. Yeah. So, this movie is about a girl who wanted to save her father from death in the army. So she secretly goes in his place and becomes one of China's greatest heroines in the process.
Yeah, I think it's based on
It's based on a myth. The name actually varies. Her
Look at you.
family
You
name.
did research.
I did do research. It varies based on the version that is told. And her name, I have read, it means magnolia. That's what Mulan means.
Oh.
So that's why all of those flowers, the magnolia flower,
There was one in her
tree,
hair,
yeah,
wasn't there?
that's why they did all of it, was to kind of pay homage to her name.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I picked this movie because I really appreciate the character Mulan of being a Disney princess who, even though she is not a quote-unquote royalty, she is still given the title based on what she did and the big contribution that she made for her country. And I think that she is a person that little girls look up to, not because she is royalty, but because of what she did. And I think that is a beautiful picture of just a cartoon role model, which I think that little girls, this is your first like way that you get into kind of constructing an image of who you are going to be and how people see females. And it's a really important time to make sure that you have those role models when you're little. And so I like how women are portrayed in this cartoon through her character. There are things that I don't like the whole matchmaker thing at the beginning, but you can see, like that doesn't fit her personality.
And the movie is fighting that system.
And so I really like it. I've always liked the character. I've always liked her. I love her little sidekicks. I love the grandma.
Stupid cricket.
It's just, and the music is fun. I think this is also kind of, when you look through the movies too of, I think it really kind of starts with that Renaissance. Like Ariel was more of a cartoon musical, as well as Belle, and then Aladdin too. And then it kind of starts to back away from that a little bit. I don't think there's as much music in Mulan as the other movies.
There's a lot of music in it.
There is, but there isn't. I mean, Mulan has never been made into a musical. The Little Mermaid has been made into a musical. Beauty and the Beast has been made into a musical. Aladdin has been made into a musical.
Those are way more popular than Mulan was, though.
Well, they're way more, but they also have more music numbers in them. Granted, even with that, they still have gone back to write more musical numbers to make it a full musical length presentation. Yeah. But
I think Beauty and the Beast out of all those is probably the one with the most music. I think of the we'll get there.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're being honest, the Disney princesses thing is pretty problematic. These characters have a lot of not good traits. Even though they are the protagonists of their stories a lot, they have very little agency in what happens, and the story mostly revolves around them getting saved by the prince. It's very standard, traditional, old school fairy tale type stuff. This is really one of the first ones that really started pushing against that. And there's a reason why it's the last one of the Renaissance. It is 20 years ago now, but this movie, there is a love interest, I guess, in the movie, but like there's no love story.
No.
Like the movie ends with him coming over to dinner, and you can extrapolate that from there, but the relationship...
Can you stay forever?
The relationship between these two characters is more about respect and honor than it is romance.
Well, because that was the whole thing. Was the whole movie is how are you going to bring honor to my family?
Right. And they're both characters trying to do the same thing. Only he doesn't have to pretend to be someone else to do it because it's not in terrible sexist ancient Japan or China.
Yeah, get that right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this movie to me is that song, I'll Make a Man Out of You. That is, when I think of this movie, that's the song I think of. That's most of what I think of with this movie. And then I remember that Eddie Murphy is in it for some reason. Just he's doing the donkey character from Shrek.
I know, this is the only voice that he has done outside of the Shrek franchise. The only animated voice that he's done. That's what I read somewhere. So maybe something changed after the thing that I read. But it also made me wonder if there's maybe some sort of like compete clause between Disney and what is it, DreamWorks that does Shrek?
Well, you know the story of DreamWorks Animation, right? Like,
no,
it was started by ex-Disney people, and like Shrek is a send-up of everything that Disney represents. They were mercilessly attacking Disney. That was the whole point of
I was never
Shrek.
a big, huge fan of Shrek.
It's all right. The first one was pretty good.
The first one was the best.
The rest of them were bad. Yeah, so Mulan. I really like the songs. The songs are really
great.
Good.
Yeah.
Remember when Christina Aguilera sung that one song? That's like the first...
Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? and then she wipes half of her face makeup off so that you see that
she's like divided.
Yeah,
it's like symbolism.
Strong imagery there.
Whoa, movies.
Yeah, they're good. And that it was the first thing that kind of catapulted her into a music career, which is
I remember. Maybe it was like a behind the music thing back way in the day, but I remember like the big test for her was whether she could hit that high note, because that song goes real high.
Notice I did not hit that part because that's not me.
But she doesn't do. She did the single for that. The song.
Yeah, she's not the actual voice
movie.
In the
is not
no,
because there is a different speaking voice and singing voice, which they do for a lot of these. That the person. A lot of these movies, the person playing the talking voice is not the person who does the singing voice. And this is another one of those. But yeah, so someone else sings it in the movie, but the single that Disney released to go along with the movie and the music video and all that, that was all Christina Aguilera. And that's what led to Genie in a Bottle, baby.
I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Gotta rub me the right way, honey. Well, that was a little off. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that wasn't great, babe. You're no Christina Aguilera.
You're right. I'm better, right?
Yes.
Thanks, babe.
God, I love you so much.
I know.
Who's Christina Aguilera?
Yeah. I really liked her on The Voice when she was a judge.
I don't like reality television.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Mulan. What do you like? But we watched this movie again. We both seen this movie probably many times, but we sat down for probably the first time in a while and watched it from beginning to end. Did you take anything away from it this time?
No, I don't think that I took anything new away from it. It's just, it's one of the few, I guess, maybe not few. I do really like cartoons, like
you do.
Animated movies.
I mean, I'm looking at our movie shelf, and it's a lot of animated movies. Not that I don't like them.
But I do. I really like it. And I think that, like you, when you initially think of the movie, you think of the Be a Man song, and that's the most powerful thing for me too. My favorite part of the whole movie is during the song when it builds up to the point where he tells her to go away, and then she at nighttime goes over to the pole and she takes it, and she realizes that, like, it's her intelligence every single time is what makes her be able to defeat
the
Huns and anyone. It's her intelligence, which I think is so wonderful, because it shows that it wasn't her beauty or everything that they wanted the woman to be that got her where she had all of China bow down and recognize her. It was purely on her intelligence and quick thinking. And I think that is
her smarts, her bravery,
fantastic.
Her unwillingness to give up.
But when she does that and she takes the weights and then she wraps them around and she pulls herself to the top and she keeps going and then she makes it, and then the arrow just shoots down.
I really like how that scene is shot, because he walks out of
it's my favorite.
He walks out of the tent and like the arrow hits the ground in front of him, and then they pan to Mulan sitting on top of the tree, and of course the music's playing in the background.
And then everything she's able to do now, and everyone else.
And then suddenly the montage switches into she's the best at everything mode.
It's so powerful.
Which is great. It's great. And it's such a catchy song. I'm going to have it stuck in my head.
Be a man, you must be swift as a coursing river, with all the strength of a great typhoon. With all the force of a great typhoon.
I always mess that one up too.
With all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
That's beautiful.
Be a man.
But it's ironic because she's not a man.
She doesn't have to be a man
she's
in
not
order
a man.
to do. Yeah.
She's doing these things and she's not a man.
Nope.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this cricket.
Power women.
I want to talk about this cricket.
Yeah, you were so upset about this cricket the whole
cricket
time.
Messes everything up. Literally everything bad.
Does the cricket mess it up, or does the cricket save China? Think about that for a moment.
I'm upset.
I know, I just blew your mind.
I'm upset.
I think the cricket saved China.
I'm upset. I am very upset. The podcast is canceled. The cricket saves China. I'm really mad about it.
It's true.
So it is a lucky cricket.
It is a lucky cricket.
Because it saves China. Without that cricket.
Without
if that cricket hadn't messed up Mulan's big moment,
yeah,
she wouldn't have been there. And without Mulan, they could not have defeated the Huns.
Exactly.
It's fucking cricket. I'm angry now. I'm really mad. I'm actually upset about this.
The cricket saves China.
Okay, so moving on from the cricket.
Cricket's my vice president.
I don't even want to talk
Elyse
about
for president, cricket VP.
Let's talk about the Huns, because I think that's one thing that is a little weird about this movie. So, I mean, this is 1999, right? 1998.
Yeah.
I don't want to, they did hire a fair amount of Asian actors for this. They're behind the camera, not too many people of Asian descent.
Okay.
But again, 1999, we're 1998. We're judging on a curve here. The world was not perfect.
No.
The movie is fairly respectful to Asian culture. But the portrayal of the Huns, and I get why they wanted to do this, because thousands of people die in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they really made the Huns weirdly animalistic. Their eyes are yellow. Mm-hmm. Their fingers are claws.
They're the way they bear-like.
Yeah, their posture is very animalistic, and it's just I feel like that was Disney's solution to, because most Disney movies are not about war between two sides. When people fight, Beauty and the Beast, it's household objects fighting humans. Lion King, it's animals fighting each other, so it's a little different. It is
animalistic, yeah.
So I feel like that was a compromise here, that they said that, okay, we'll make the Huns seem so monstrous that they don't even feel like people. So when Mulan causes an avalanche and kills thousands of them, it's not death.
We're just in awe though because of the graphics.
Because of Attila.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about Attila, because this was a big deal.
It was the first time that it was ever used in order.
Yeah, they basically made a special effects program to simulate the hordes.
Yeah.
Of
first time that was ever used in a movie. And I think that's one of the reasons I really like animated movies too, is the technology that they come up with to make things look so much more visually appealing is just incredible. And we watched Mulan before we watched Beauty and the Beast, and you can look at the crowds in Beauty and the Beast and you can see how different it was. And it was
because it wasn't it wasn't CG. It was real. Yeah.
And it was just kind of neat to see how that had changed.
But I want to talk about that, and we'll talk about that a little more when we get to my movie. But
okay.
This is a very beautiful movie. And and both of these movies together, I miss 2D drawn animation. I really miss it. I think 3D animation is great. I love what Pixar does. I think the newer Disney movies have looked great. I thought Moana was a beautiful film, but there's something about 2D animation that
I agree.
You can, and especially in Beauty and the Beast, and we'll get there. It feels, you can tell it's drawn. You can tell people sat down and drew this stuff.
And I like that too. I feel like that's people enjoy, or I might be speaking out of turn because I'm just assuming too, but that's part of the draw to animated movies is that visual. And I don't like how they just continually try and make the things look more and more realistic, because the goal should not be to make the picture look exactly like the human, because if you really wanted it to just be people, then make the... And it's just
yeah, and
I don't know.
I do appreciate that some of the newer ones are really trying to. They're not shooting for photorealistic. They're shooting for a very specific kind of visual style. I think that's what Pixar does very well. They pick a style.
Yes, they do.
And they Coco was so beautiful. That was I love the look of that movie. But it's still there's something different to hand drawn. There's something tactile to a drawing that you can tell their edges are rougher. It's not as smooth, it's not as shiny. It's even with computer graphics as they are today, which have gotten so much better at textures and all like water and smoke and all these things. They've gotten so good at these things now, really good. There is something different to it, and this is coming from a guy who I love stop motion animation, so I love this crafted feeling of something, and so I really enjoyed Mulan and especially Beauty and the Beast experiencing. It's been a while since I've sat down and watched one of these older. God, it feels weird to call these older movies.
I mean, they're 20 years old now.
But these older hand-drawn animated films, and it's so Mulan.
Oh my gosh, Ariel's about to be 30.
Yeah, Mulan. You can tell. You can still notice the difference between the CG. Like Mulan, you've got the character animation, you've got the background, and then you can tell when it cuts to CG. But not as much. The Attila thing has aged fairly well. The moment at the end of the movie where they all like all of the Forbidden City like kneels down before her. That's showing its age a little bit. But Beauty and the Beast, I was shocked at how much that showed its age. That one scene in Beauty and the Beast, I couldn't believe it. I'm jumping ahead, but
yeah, stop doing that.
I'm sorry.
So Scott, did you learn anything about me watching this?
I mean, like, it doesn't surprise me that you pick. Like, I know you love The Little Mermaid, and I'm sure we will get to a point where we're talking about Little Mermaid.
I mean, we better.
Yeah. But it does not surprise me that in Women's History Month you picked this movie with this fascinating, strong, intelligent character in Mulan. I am not surprised at all. And I know you love the music, so that was not surprising either.
And I love the dragon. I love the dragon.
I do not. Like, Eddie Murphy's
and the cricket
a great
that saves
comedian.
China.
I know the Moo Shu is so weird. Like,
did you know they wanted to make a larger dragon because of, first of all, they were not ever going to do a dragon, because when you think dragon, you think something much larger and more terrifying, which is like what a dragon is. And they didn't want it to be that scary. And so that's why they just
gave it Eddie Murphy's voice.
So they gave it Eddie Murphy's voice, and they made it that much smaller. And that's why he makes jokes about I'm pocket sized and all that other stuff, because originally he was going to be a full-size dragon, and then they went back and they said no, they couldn't do that because it was going to be too terrifying for the kids.
Yeah.
Then you get little Moo Shu.
There's like these movies all feel like they need to have the animal sidekick, right? And to varying success. Not a fan of Moo Shu. It feels some of the tonal flip-flopping this movie does like is insane. Like you cut from like Mulan picking up the doll of a dead child who has been murdered in this town that was burned down to Eddie Murphy making a funny joke with a cricket. And it's just weird.
Okay. It's all good.
You're eating again. I don't understand. This is an hour. You can't wait an hour to eat dessert.
It's just so good.
What are you eating this week?
I am eating this week dark chocolate espresso cups by Hail Mary. Freedom to indulge.
Okay.
Certified gluten-free, dairy-free, and non-GMO. Verified.
Okay. So there's one more thing I want to talk about before we move on.
Yep.
And that's our wonderful vice president, Mike Pence, who in 1999 decided that he was going to opine on Mulan. And here's what he said. It's really, really fascinating. He called it liberal propaganda. Here's what he said. Despite her delicate features and voice, Disney expects us to believe that Mulan's ingenuity and courage were enough to carry her to military success on an equal basis with her cloddish cohorts. Obviously, this is Walt Disney's attempt to add childhood expectation to the cultural debate over the role of women in the military. You see, now stay with me on this, many young men find many young women to be attractive sexually. Many young women find many young men to be attractive sexually. Put them together in close quarters for long periods of time, and things will get interesting. Just like they eventually did for young Mulan. Moral of the story? Women in the military? Bad idea. Now, first of all...
I don't think what he alluded to actually happened.
First of all, Mike Pence is an asshole.
Second of all, I don't think that...
They did not ever... there was no fraternization. They never did anything.
No. And this, I think, goes
She's
along
not-
with his own opinion of he doesn't ever want to be left alone in a room without a woman because
he's a weak kid. Because without his
Yeah.
wife there, he's just going to attack any woman he sees. Because he just can't control himself. Look, this is, I mean...
And I think what is really frustrating to me is he frowns upon the fact that she uses her brain in order to solve the crisis.
Can't
Like,
do that.
what is so wrong with using your wit and creativity in order to
Because you
maybe
can't...
even come up with a peaceful solution that you don't even have to
Because you
fight?
can't do that
And
in
if-
the military, Elise. All you can do in the military is use your muscles. And men have bigger muscles, so women can't be fighters.
And that goes back to my argument last week when, you know, even though we may not be technically larger, we have the brains, we have endurance, we have the pain tolerance for if we actually do get hit.
It's
Just, I mean, like, it's
a stupid argument.
disgusting.
It's a stupid argument
It's
that has
disgusting.
aged terribly. And, like, it's inexcusable in 1998. It looks even more reprehensible in 2018. And this guy is the second most powerful person in our country. So, bad word, Mike Pence. Let's move on. So one more thing before we wanted to finish, I just wanted to talk to you about the live action adaptation, which is happening.
It
was
is.
actually originally supposed to come out this year, and then they pushed it back because I think they changed their mind. I think originally the plan for this was no music. They weren't going to make it a
Bad
musical.
call.
Yeah,
bad
because remember,
call.
Disney's been doing this whole live action thing, right?
Oh,
And-
yeah, I know.
And they made Cinderella. That didn't have any music in it, I don't
None
think.
at all.
They made Jungle Book. That had like they did sing.
Maybe
They
a
sang
song.
like it was. They
The
had
King Louis song.
in Bare Necessities.
You wanna be cool. You wanna walk like
man
you,
like you,
talking like you.
Yeah.
And then it had Scarlett Johansson singing the song in the credits, which was weird.
Yeah, and then Beauty and the Beast. They fully went into the musical thing, and of course that movie made $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they basically decided, oh shit, this is what people want. Just remake the old movie. So now Mulan is coming out in 2020. So
Oh my gosh,
I believe it's going
Be a
to
Man
have
is gonna be so good. And I wonder
Yeah.
if they'll get Christina to do a
Christina.
song. Christina Aguilera.
I don't know.
I mean,
I think
she's
they're
20
I think they
years
are,
older now.
I mean, Disney is very much in the we need to cast and we need to support on both sides of the camera. If we're telling an Asian story, we need to cast a Chinese story. We need to cast Chinese people. And I think they have cast Mulan. I don't
They
remember
did.
who it was. She is a Chinese woman, though. So they're trying very hard to not completely ignore the culture and the people in these remakes.
Which is good.
Yeah,
I think
it
that's
is very
the
good.
correct
It's
way
very
that they
important.
should
That is the
be.
correct way to do it. That absolutely
Yeah.
is. And we saw that with Coco. They tried really hard with Coco. I know that's Pixar, but it's Disney Pixar. You know what I mean. Yeah, so that is Mulan.
I don't even want to try and pronounce
Yeah.
her name. Yifei, Yifei, Lu.
So that is Mulan.
She's Mulan.
Good movie. Really enjoyed it.
I did too.
And now we're going to take a break, Elise. We're going to take a break.
Take a snack break brought to you by Hail Mary. Try dark chocolate espresso cups.
I wish you would stop giving free advertisement to people
Why?
because I want their money.
Well, they.
We'll be right
Sorry.
back after this. And by this, I mean I'm going to put a Mulan song here and YouTube's going to yell at me for it. But I don't even care.
Who is that boy I see?
No, it's not going to be that one.
Staring right across at me.
It's me.
It's my husband, Scotty. I love him. He let me have this show. I don't know why, but it's so much fun. And we just keep watching movies for you.
We'll be right back.
I like the way you work it.
That has nothing to do with coming back.
I know, and then...
How come you haven't done the Backstreet Boys
I know,
yet?
that's
that
what I
seems
was
like
thinking.
the most obvious
I know,
one.
that's what I was going to do. But it's so obvious. Sometimes you can't do the things that are most obvious because then you turn into Norman on the baking show.
Where did you go? Elyse is referencing the Great British Bake Off, which we were watching right before we decided to record.
Because he always plays it safe and he does the things that are not creative.
I don't know. Your mind is like an enigma.
My mind is a wonderland.
Okay, just keep trying. Let's talk about my movie now.
Okay.
I picked Beauty and the Beast.
Hey, that's a movie about us, isn't it?
Oh! Ooh. I can tell you've been holding on to that joke for a while.
I just came up with it.
This is the 1990...
I'm just kidding, you're not a beast,
Thank you. This is the 1991 animated version, not the 2017.
I'm sorry, I feel really bad.
It's okay.
I was just kidding.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about it off air.
Oh no.
This is a 1991 animated film directed by Gary Truesdale and Kirk Wise, who also worked on The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Atlantis, two Disney movies that did not do too well. You guys know the story of Beauty and the Beast, right? Well, if you don't, here's the IMDb summary. A young woman whose father has been imprisoned by a terrifying beast offers herself in his place, unaware that her captor is actually a prince, physically altered by a spell. So, Elyse, we rewatched Beauty and the Beast. And
we did.
I love this movie.
It's been a while since I've seen the original.
It has been a while for me, too. And I really like this movie.
I do, too.
And I really like Belle. Belle was, for me, growing up... like
your cartoon crush?
Yeah. Belle was smart, and she could sing, and she loved to read books. And that's like, I mean, look, this was 1991. That's her defining characteristic. She likes books. Mm-hmm. And I really liked Belle. And
good for you.
I think, what was that?
I don't know. Good for you.
You're Belle.
I am?
Yeah, you love books.
I like books, yeah.
Yeah. And you can sing.
I can sing.
And
I can dance. After all, now, this is fun. And the podcasts here are never second best. What?
I mean, we are Beauty and the Beast. Did I not? I'm a prince. Did I forget to tell you that?
Yeah, you did.
This is this dog right here. This is it's been cursed. It's actually a footstool.
Is that what it is?
It's actually a footstool.
The dog is the footstool.
Yeah. It explains so much.
It does, doesn't it?
But yeah, I think this movie has aged really well. I mean, we can get into some of the problematic elements of it. I mean, this movie is not woke. Belle's problems are solved by falling in love with a dude. There's so many people
actually falling in love with an animal.
Yeah, okay. It's pro bestiality, it's pro Stockholm syndrome. But there's something like this idea that she is this person that doesn't feel like she belongs in this village, and she's searching for adventure, and she's searching for... And the one thing that I forgot is she's searching for adventure, and she wants to see the world and experience all these different things. But the one thing that her I Want song says that I had forgotten about is she also wants someone to experience this with her. Like, that's the part of the song I forgot. Because I always, like, when I thought about this movie, I'd always joke about, like, oh, she wants to see the world and experience everything, and then falls in love with the first dude she meets outside of her village and stays in his castle forever, and that's pretty boring. But what she really wants is a person who cares about the same things she does and likes the same things she does. And so when he's got that big old library, she's like, yeah, this beast, this library. Obviously this is based on a very, very old fairy tale, and it's been remade so many different times, but I really do think this is my favorite version of the story. The music's great. I like all the characters. I like the little touches in it. Do you know that, like, in the opening number, they coded Belle as blue, and they didn't let anyone else in the town have any blue on them at all?
I did not
to
know
specifically make her stand out. And then that's specifically supposed to match with the Beast, who is wearing blue in his suit is blue in that one scene, and he has very bright blue eyes. So that's supposed to kind of hint that they're drawn together. And red is the exact opposite, because guess what Gaston wears?
Gaston.
Yeah.
Is in red.
Yeah. And it's so this is also a very different, like, for 1991, I think this was a very different kind of movie too, because Gaston in any other Disney movie prior to this one looks like what the Prince Charming of the movie would look like. He has
the build, but his face is not there.
Okay,
I'm gonna say he's not the most attractive.
At least it's a cartoon.
Okay. Can I tell you this too? I didn't tell you last night, but so I actually saw Disney princesses on ice when I was little. Now, I did not dress up like a Disney princess, but I did get to purchase something from the Disney princess or the store, the Disney store that was there. I got a punching bag. Like one of those that has like the weight on the bottom and it's inflatable and you can punch it and it comes back. It was Gaston. And I would
you just wanted to punch him in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Gaston punching bag. It
Gaston
was great.
deserves to be punched.
It was so much fun.
However, Gaston's villain song, with the exception of Be Prepared, might be my favorite villain song.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Which brings me to so I do like this movie, and I do like the music in this movie, and the remake of it was okay. But I think when I was talking to you about the remake of the movie, I was very interested going into it because, like what I said earlier, there have been quite a few Disney movies that have been made into a musical. Mm-hmm. And this is one of my favorite ones that is a Disney musical. And the song Gaston in the musical is one of my favorite numbers I've ever seen on Broadway. It is so much fun. They do like this, I forget if they have a tap dance in it or not. They may have one, but I just remember they have this amazing scene where they all have these like beer steins, and it's them like having one in each hand, and they're in a line, and they use that as musical instruments in order to clap them together and dance with them. And it is just, the choreography is brilliant. And I absolutely love any Disney musical because the production value of the musical is insane. And so it's
got
just
that Disney money.
They do. They have it. And that's why
I've
haven't
only
seen Aladdin.
Lion King. I've only seen Lion King.
The Lion King, fantastic. The Little Mermaid, the way that they make the water move and how they have them like actually swim across stage is extremely creative. And then the song Under the Sea is just like an explosion of color and excitement. And then you have this, and it's even just like in the little song of Gaston, it's just phenomenal. And if you have an opportunity to see a Disney musical anywhere around you, and it's actually a touring company, because I've seen someone try and do a Disney musical on like a local budget, and it's not, I mean, they try. And,
yeah, you can't blame them,
you know, but wow, like this on stage is incredible.
But you know what wasn't good?
What?
The remake. I did
and
not
that
like
was the
that
thing
movie.
Was like I did not like it as much because I'd seen the original version, which I loved, and then I'd seen the musical, which was phenomenal. To then have it be followed up by this, it was just, you have such a classic with the cartoon, and then you have such a production value of the other that's actually with people. So if you're going to make a musical, or you're going to readapt it or whatever, and you're going to have it with people, and the musical is so successful, why not take the musical version and really just put it
because that's
on
not
film?
Because all they wanted to do was remake the animation movie. I wrote a review about this. You can go check it on dailyplanetfilms.com. But yeah, it was just a pointless movie to me. They just remade the cartoon and then added stupid stuff to it. Like there are parts when they added like an explanation, like we have to know why.
Yeah, with the mirror.
Yeah. And they added like a book, right, where he could travel anywhere with a book. So she goes to like meet her dead mother in Paris or something. And you're just like, what? what? This is not like
Yeah.
the places where the original Beauty and the Beast was good, they just copied those wholesale. And the places where they wanted to change stuff, they just explained stuff that didn't need to be explained. So it was just like, I thought the movie was kind of well made. I mean, it was like, you could tell it was expensive. I think the Be Our Guest number in the live action one was the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was very well done. And it was very well done because it was entirely computer graphics, with the exception of Emma Watson sitting there.
Yeah.
The whole thing was CG. So at that point, it's like you're just making an animated movie. You're just trying for photorealism, I guess. Like what you're talking about before.
Just pick it.
Yeah.
Pick what you want to do. And if you want to remake it with animation, they remake it with animation.
But they're gonna keep doing these though.
I know.
Because they're making billions of dollars.
And on a music side, I told you when we originally saw the remake in theaters that I got frustrated because going to see the musical, they add, like I said, more numbers in there. And there's a beautiful song that Belle sings about home and about how she, is wondering, is this home now? Is what I really gave up for my father, is it worth it? And it's really emotional, and like it really is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music with it. And again, it's Alan Menken, and so he will write things for the movie, then he will take it and write it for the musical, and it's so good. And then there were original songs for the remake of the movie too, I didn't like any of them.
There's
and I
one.
kept thinking,
There's one that's supposed to be like the Beast's ballad, and I did not like that song.
You can only write so many songs for the same movie, and I feel like when you have the musical, you can add a couple. But then after that, it's like you're kind of exhausting your resources, and the ones that didn't make the first cut or didn't make the second cut, don't just throw them into the third one because you want something new.
Yeah.
It just, that frustrated me. But going back to the original, which is what we watched,
the movie
and what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. I did really like, I think Be Our Guest was my absolute favorite.
It's a very, like,
in the whole one.
And not just, the song is great, but I think just like in the live action one, I think the sequence, the number, the things that the animation did with all the, like, with the extravagance, it's very fun. It's really fun. Mm-hmm. And it's like over the top and ridiculous, and
kids love that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that they,
although, you know what? She never eats. All the food comes by. I think she has like one little bit of meringue, and then they cart it away. And then they're like, okay, go away now. And I don't think she ever ate any food.
She was filled with entertainment.
I mean,
there's no reason to eat
with
when
that
you're
figure.
entertained.
She probably doesn't eat very much anyway.
Are you trying to say she's an eating disorder?
No, she's just very skinny.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So let's talk about that animation, because this, even more so than Mulan, feels very, I mean, the hand-drawnness shows, like you can see, like you can almost see the pencil strokes in some of the animation.
I didn't notice that, but I'll take your word on it, because you
can.
look for that detail more than I do. I know.
And it's just so, like, maybe it was because I was watching it on a big TV in our, like, I've never, since the release in theaters, I've never seen this movie like on a big TV, and we have a pretty nice television, and I was watching it and focusing on it, so I got to see the detail of the animation, and it is the hand-drawn nature of it really shines, like, on my TV, and the contrast between, I think the animated characters and the backgrounds blend pretty well as well. I mean, you can still tell that's a background, that's not. The only place where it does suffer is, like you were saying, some of the far out shots, like the ending shot of the movie is so
hilarious.
stark.
I know.
The camera pulls back, and then suddenly you have these, and it's just because, like, you can't draw and color at that level of detail from that far away. So they look like just like,
I mean, they are
fifth
faceless.
grade drawings. Yeah,
They're
they
faceless.
have their faces have no features. Like the only the two are moving, Belle and the Beast, and the rest of them are just stationary. And that didn't look great. But that was the limit of the stuff. I mean, I think this was the first animated movie that used CG, for the ballroom scene, and you can kind of tell the textures on the ballroom are pretty flat.
And I think everyone was so impressed by it too, which is why it got the first and only nomination for Best Picture, right?
Yeah.
It was Beauty and the Beast. And after this is when they decided they needed to add the next category. Am I correct with that?
The animation category?
Yeah. Well, maybe not the year after.
I don't think it was the year after.
Because of this, they wanted to be able to give animated films awards and recognition. And so I think this is a really important movie for
for animation for movies. Yeah. And it was a huge movie. It was very successful. Because like the Renaissance as like started with Little Mermaid, and Little Mermaid did pretty well, but it was a Beauty and the Beast where suddenly we were like, oh,
everything
we got to take these movies seriously now. And then
then you have Aladdin,
and you have Lion King, and then
the Lion King's not in the princess.
Well, but I mean the Disney Renaissance, not the Princess Renaissance, but and then Pocahontas, which whoops.
Yeah.
I love that Lion King Pocahontas story because that's so funny to me. Do you know it?
I don't know it. What
they
is
were
it?
convinced.
Do tell.
They were convinced that Pocahontas was going to be the next huge one because they had this run of princess movies that were so successful. So they put their entire A team on Pocahontas, and they put the B team on Lion King because they didn't think Lion King. So it was like all the B animators and storyboard and artists and all those guys were on Lion King. And Lion King is fantastically more well received than Pocahontas. Pocahontas is a movie with a lot of problems. There's actually, I'll show it to you sometime. There's a video essay from Lindsay Ellis, one of the essayists I like a lot, that did this whole breakdown of the problems with Pocahontas, and it's pretty fascinating.
Problems.
It's pretty fascinating. But yeah,
Colors of the Wind. That was a good song, though. Colors of the Wind.
Yeah, that was a good song. But
round the hidden pine trails of the forest.
It was no Circle of Life and Be Prepared and Hakuna Matata.
It's a pretty song. And then Just Can't Wait to Be the King. That one.
Just
and
King,
Lion
not
King.
the King.
King.
Get it right.
Just can't
Did you know the Lion King
to be corrected?
The Lion King live action remake that's happening.
Yes, with Beyonce.
Yeah,
of course I know.
With Beyonce.
Queen Bee's in it. Tell me something I don't know.
They are not having the villain song. Be prepared. Cut. Not in the movie. It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
That's one of the best villain songs.
I bet you they'll rewrite a different villain song.
They probably will. Probably also not going to get Jeremy Irons to play Scar.
Probably not. But they got Queen Bee.
They did. Is she playing Nala?
Yes.
You think they're going to make Nala a bigger role in that movie? I bet they are.
I bet you they do. I bet you she sings a couple songs too.
And that's the thing, like I think Lion King is probably my favorite of these Disney animated movies. But obviously for the Disney Princess one, I couldn't pick that. Aladdin is... I love Aladdin too. And Jasmine is technically a Disney princess, so I thought about picking that. But Jasmine is really relegated to the background in that movie.
Yes, which is why it was controversial for her to actually be considered a Disney princess, because she was not central to the movie. Yes.
Yeah, which is a shame. But Belle is great. And I love Belle.
Good.
I want Belle's library. One day you and I will have that library.
Okay. Only it's going to be filled with movies and not books. One side will be movies, one side will be books.
There we go. All right. I think that's all I had to talk about Beauty and the Beast. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No.
Are you surprised that I picked this? What were you?
No.
Before I told you, what did you think I was going to pick? Did you think I was going to pick this?
I thought you were going to pick this. I thought, if anything else, it's going to be Sleeping Beauty. I knew you would not pick The Little Mermaid.
Really? Why Sleeping Beauty?
I don't know, because you're one of those classic people.
I'm
so glad you didn't pick Snow White, though. Oh my gosh, she's my least favorite.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That movie.
But no, I'm not surprised at Belle at all, because especially the reading. You love books, and so the fact that she loves books is just like,
she's reading that book in the middle of town at that fountain, and she shows the book to the sheep. And the sheep rips a page out of the book. And she just rolls with it.
I know.
What the fuck?
It's because she loves them sheep too.
What the fuck? That the guy just gave her this book. He has a very small library. It's a town in the middle of rural
It's her
France.
book now, though. She can do with that book what she wants to do with the book. And she wanted to let the sheep have some food because she's probably going to use the sheep for either food herself later or for clothing. And so the sheep needs to be taken care of.
I think it's her sheep.
Well, you don't even know.
But you know what? You know what the best way to make you hate a villain, though?
What?
Have him throw her book in the mud. Her brand new book. He throws it in the mud.
That's worse than the sheep.
It is. You just throw a book in the mud.
For those of you who don't know, Scott is he is a book lover.
I take care of my
but
books.
He also gets really upset at you if you do anything wrong with the book. If you break the spine of the book, if you fold a page down in the book.
Why would you do that?
If you accidentally put the book in your purse the wrong way and it bends part of the cover, it is like the gates of hell have just been broken open.
Book hell?
And it is just absolutely horrible.
I'm sorry, I like to take care of my things.
What book was it that I accidentally spilled something on and so you just threw it away? It could have still been read.
It was ruined.
You could have still read it.
You spilled an entire glass of wine all over a book. It was ruined.
Wine. No, it was not ruined.
It was ruined.
Had the ink bled to the point where you could not read it.
The pages were ruined.
It was because it had a liquid on it that you did not want.
Ruined.
It would have been fine.
No.
Anyway, so we rebought the book.
Yeah.
Scott loves his books in pristine condition.
Look, I think you should take care of books. I don't lend my books to people because I don't trust them. Because I lent my Harry Potter book to my mom, and the binding was broken, and an entire section fell out.
She must have really liked it.
It was ruined.
It's okay.
It was ruined. You better not write in books. If you write in books, That's what spirals are for. You take notes, you page references.
I'm going to go through and write a note in one of your books for you just so that one day when you reread it, it's going to be fun to hear you go off.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I think it will be. And I'm going to make it one of the nice books too.
Oh, yeah, that's great, babe.
I'm not going to do that. I won't do it to a nice book. I'll do it to a paperback.
No. Why would you? No.
I'll do it to one of your Tana French books.
That's mean.
Haha.
That's mean.
I'm just kidding. I won't do that. I know you don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's a good place to wrap this. So let's move on.
Okay. So last week's question.
Nobody answered it.
Yeah.
We only got a couple answers. I don't know what's wrong with you
people. It's hard to find your soulmate sometimes.
Yeah, so that was the question, is who is your Disney soulmate? And we provided a bunch of quizzes for people to take if they couldn't come up with it themselves.
Yeah. And so we actually took the quiz, and I think it was really fun because when I took the quiz for my soulmate prince, I got Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
And when Scott took the soulmate quiz for his Disney princess, he got Jasmine.
Is meant to be.
So it was like, we're each other's cartoon soulmates, too.
Hey, Elyse.
What?
Do you trust me?
No.
Oh. Well, that kind of ruined what I was trying to do there.
I knew what you were trying to do, so I didn't want you to do it.
It's mean.
But yeah, Aladdin is also, there are a few cartoon characters that I think are the most attractive cartoon characters. I think that Aladdin is one.
That's weird.
I think that Eric is one.
This is a weird conversation to have.
And then I've always had a crush on Dimitri from Anastasia, too. Cartoon crushes.
I don't even remember what that guy looks like.
It's John Cusack's voice. John Cusack has a great voice. Maybe it was just more of his voice.
I do remember
and it made the character.
Jasmine had a bare midriff, and that was like, whoa.
I know.
Lady belly button.
And actually, her and Mulan are the only two princesses that wear pants. Maybe now, since later.
I don't think that's true anymore.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
go.
not anymore.
You go, Mulan.
But they were.
And Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine, you need to take control of your movie. They're making a live action Aladdin. I hope they give Jasmine more to do in it.
I hope they do too. We'll see.
Can't wait for that live action Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to watch it because you're not going to buy the streaming service.
Yeah, because it's going to be on their Disney streaming service, and I refuse to buy more streaming services.
It's fine. We just bought the DVD or the Blu-ray, so we'll watch it on our way. But so Kevin did take the quiz last week, and Kevin's soulmate prince is Eric.
Interestingly enough, the prince is the only quiz that Kevin took, so we don't know what his princess soulmate is.
Or his villain.
Or his villain soulmate.
Yeah.
What was my villain soulmate? I don't remember.
Mine was Maleficent.
Yes. Mine was Jafar?
I don't think yours was Jafar.
I don't think it matters because these quizzes are
You
dumb.
had a woman because we both said that we...
Yeah, because women scare us more. We both said that.
Not because they
True.
scare us more.
Very true.
Rude.
See that look? That's what I have nightmares about. That one right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really a nightmare? Is it you wake up and I'm just...
It's just staring at me. Yeah,
all over your face.
There's that too. Yeah, so Kevin said Prince Eric from... That's Little Mermaid, right?
Yes. Why would you even question that? It's Prince Eric.
Because he's so bland, I barely remember him. He's so boring in
rude.
that movie. He's not interesting at all.
He's not.
What is the character trait of Prince Eric in that movie?
Dumb.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's next? Our only other
Valar.
one. What did he put?
Aurora.
Aurora Borealis.
Which I don't know if he took the quiz or
At
if he
this
just
time
came
of
up
year,
with that. But
located in this room.
yes.
That's it. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Aurora, I mean, like what I said with the classic princesses, Snow White is my least favorite of all princesses.
Why?
She's so boring.
I mean, the movie was made a long time ago.
I know. I think, is that the last one that Walt Disney actually worked on? I know that the Walt Disney worked on that movie.
Yes, absolutely. That was the first animated movie they put out. That was the first animated feature-length film ever.
Oh, maybe that's why I didn't like the princess. And then Cinderella, and then Sleeping Beauty. I like the fairies.
Her name is
that are
not Sleeping Beauty.
Aurora.
There you go.
Whatever. I don't know. I've never really been a huge fan of her.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, we got to
Anyways.
wrap this thing up.
We are.
We only got 2 answers. Guys, send in answers to the questions, please. You can send it to us at dailyplanetfilms@gmail.com. Tell us your answers. We like answers. This section is way less fun. Nobody answers.
Mm-hmm.
Elyse, what are we doing next week? The final week in May. The final of our Women's Appreciation Month thing.
Yes, our final week is actually Women of TV. So we are picking a TV show that we enjoy that has a female lead character.
Yeah. And obviously between now and next week, we are not going to watch an entire television show.
No, but the show that each of us picked, we both have seen the entire show. Like, I have seen all episodes of the show that I picked.
Yeah.
You have seen all episodes of the show that you picked.
And
I have actually watched all episodes of the show that you picked. You just have not watched all of mine because
I haven't gotten around to it
despite me asking you over and over again, hey, can we watch this show? And having you try and start it multiple times, you just don't do it.
Man, there's this bug back here. It's gotten really loud.
Yeah. So we are doing Women of TV. I have picked the show Alias because Sydney Bristow was someone who I absolutely adored when I was in high school.
So yeah, we're going to watch...
And I won't go into the details, but...
We'll probably try to watch the first season, or at least a few. That's a lot of episodes. We'll watch
I would
some.
say we'll at least watch as much of the first season as we can, and then there's one episode from season 2 that I will always refer to as the Super Bowl episode.
Okay.
Because it came out on
after the Super Bowl.
But it was really important to the main storyline of season 1 and then kind of set season 2 and the rest of the series.
Okay. Hey, the bug stopped. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
just
bug.
in time for you to say...
I picked Buffy the Vampire Slayer, my favorite television show ever.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys have ever heard him talk about Buffy before, but if you haven't...
We're going to get to next week.
He will.
Because we're doing a television show and we've never done this before, I think we're going to have to set some ground rules. I don't think it's fair to expect all of our viewers to have seen every single episodes of these shows.
That's fair.
So we are going to talk about them rather generally. So we are not going to get into super specific plot details with the show besides like a little bit of maybe the beginning of it. Basically because we don't want to alienate people who have not seen all or any of these shows. So I'm not going to spoil if Buffy or Alias have been... Shut up, bug. if Buffy or Alias have been on your list for a while and you haven't seen them all, you can still listen next week without it being spoiled. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And
That'd be good.
let's wrap this up because
Okay.
this bug is not going to shut up. What's our question for next week? Hopefully people will answer this one.
Oh, what did we say it was? I forgot.
It was, what is a television show? What is your television show that you like?
Oh, right. The television show that you always are nagging people to watch.
Yeah.
That you like.
Yeah.
Because I've always told Scott that he needs to watch Alias. And actually, I've always told him he needs to watch Gilmore Girls too.
I'm working
And
on it.
You know, when we started dating, we said Gilmore Girls and Buffy. And I said, fine. I will watch all of Buffy if you will watch all of Gilmore Girls. And do you know who was true to their word? I was. I watched all seasons of Buffy, even after I had started it once and I didn't like it. And then I rewatched it again, and then I watched all of the episodes. And let me ask you, hey, Scott, have you watched all of Gilmore Girls?
I'm glad you have so much more free time than I do. Because I don't have a lot of free time. Sorry.
It's not a priority, is it?
It's a priority. I've got other priorities as well.
Okay. Well.
All right. That's all we have for you guys this week. If you like this podcast and you want to support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/dailyplanetfilms. You can donate $1 a month or whatever else you can afford to help us keep producing content. We have a bunch of other shows that you can check out there. You can check out everything we do over at dailyplanetfilms.com, and you can subscribe to us. You can subscribe to this podcast. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on...
Overcast?
That's not...
Is that different?
Overcast just pulls from iTunes.
Oh.
We're on YouTube. We're on other stuff. We're on a bunch of stuff. The only one we're not on is Spotify. That's it.
Why aren't we on Spotify?
Because Spotify is really strict. Really strict.
I'm very strict.
I'm sorry.
Evidently, I'm a strict teacher. Who knew?
Me.
I would have never thought.
And speaking of iTunes, if you are subscribed on iTunes, it would be really great if you go over there and just give us a quick rating and review. Because every review allows more people to find us and are exposed to our podcast and hopefully become listeners and participate in that viewer question. Because we really need people to do that. Elyse, do we have any new review?
We do. We've got one from Bobby.
Bobby?
Yeah.
What accent are we doing this time?
I just came up with something in my head, so, you're just going to have to go with me on
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
I love this. Scott and Elyse remind me of my girlfriend and me, all the way down to the spontaneous singing. The discussions are usually pretty good, and even with all the sidetracking, and I like how the format has developed. This has become one of my must-listen podcasts.
What's that word again? Oh, yeah.
Water. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Thank you for the review. Thank you, everyone else that has given us reviews. We've gotten some ratings, but not reviews, so we can't. I don't get to see who those people are, but we've gotten a couple more 5 stars.
Thank you guys that did that. That was nice.
Thank you so much, guys. And we will see you next week to talk about some lady in TV stuff.
Alias.
Buffy.
Sydney Bristow.
Slaying vampires.
SD6.
I don't know what that means.
You will.
Hey, Elyse.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Aladdin.
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
The genie.
In a bottle, baby. It's gonna roll me the right way, honey.